Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. We are just going to wait for some more people to join us, and then we're going to contact our artist, Magda Von Hanau, Magda Gomez Von Hanau, an incredible artist that we're going to have the chance to speak with her today. I'm going to raise my volume to see if you guys can hear me well. Everything good? Great. So we're going to connect very soon. Thank you so much. Just to let you know, next week, when we finish this particular series, we are going to do a Spanish series with our artists from Latin America and Spain. So it's going to be also very excited about it. So let's just try to connect with Magda. See? It's my second time doing a live, so please be patient with me. Thank you. Let's see. We send an invitation to Magda. Waiting for her to connect. I love all the comments. They're fun. I just connect somebody by accident. Let's just try to connect her again, please. Yeah, I think I got it right now.
Hello.
Hello. And a little shy because you do have more experience than me in this month.
Wait, never. This is the first live I ever do in Instagram. I'm completely lost.
But it's not certainly the first live television or movie or whatever you have done so many. But thank you everybody for joining us today.
Thank
Thank you, Magda. Magda, I'm going to talk about you a little bit. So, Magda is a Brazilian artist, but is also a super mother, a super wife. She cooks the 3 meals every day, which is actually, I can't believe it, how she gets the time.
not more.
Then she also work in many different areas. You know, she does photography, she does sculpture, she does video installations. She does so many things I really don't know where she gets the time to do all of this. But we are very excited. Thank you so much for joining us, Magda. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, the time you have to find time. It is one of my passions, and it's a kind of mental escape. Know, Especially in these times. When I have this OCD, compulsive OCD, thing that I have to do. I have to create. It's like the mind, the brainstorming all the time with ideas. And yes, it's true. I do like to explore, different media, and to research and try new material, more or less with the same idea of work, right? With the same statement. But I find it interesting, and I'm very happy that I can,
I think I think in the moments of tension, yesterday we were talking about what we're going to do and what we're going to show, and I was just telling her, let's focus on whatever we are doing now, what we're showing now, and suddenly you were calling me, well, I'm just drawing, and I was like, girl, let's just show what we got at this moment. You were already doing a second piece, but I guess it's just escape time, being
right.
a mother of two little girls, which are adorable. I always call you and I always listen to screaming and mommy, and then you come out with these sculptures, and then it's quite amazing. How do we met? Do you remember? I always start to love how do we met? If
Okay.
you remember that one.
We met through a friend in common, Super Monica. We,
Super Monica Madotto, yes, a great also artist,
yes.
and
And
a
you
woman of the world.
me to be part of your show in Soho House, and that's how we started collaboration. With
Yes, and we did a wonderful show when I was curating the exhibitions at the Soho House, which lasted for like 2 years. And you were part of one of them, and we sold a couple of pieces, and it was quite great. And then I really want to become your friend because you're so much fun. I was like, okay, finally, somebody
you're
different, fun. That's
you
good.
yeah, and the photo, yeah, the first approach of our relationship was the photos, and then I show you the drawings. Yes, we're talking about kids, it is crazy, but they are a major fount of inspiration for me. So much of my work, my drawings especially, comes from what is the life with children, what is giving life, to a human being, and it's everything related.
Tell us a little bit about your story. You were born in Brazil, and how do you get to move out of Brazil? What you were doing, and sort of the sort of transformation that you have made into what you was as a professional in Italy, and to what you are now. I only know that I was at the Biennale with you couple of years ago, and I didn't realize how famous you were in Italy. We were going out, and people were like screaming your name, and I was like, "Who are you? What you have done here?" It was quite unbelievable. So I wanted people to know, and the most important thing is that I love when people are able to transform themselves and what they really want inside them, but they have to go through a through a pattern in life to get there. So tell us about from Brazil how you ended back in Miami.
Well, I come from a very small town in the state of São Paulo, and very simple family, and I wanted to go to the big town, to work, so, and to explore a little bit. I always felt I was not meant to be there. And then I went to São Paulo, and I entered into the fashion world of São Paulo. In reality, doing the backstage, I was at the beginning, I was a hairdresser, and and I was assisting very famous dresser in Brazil. And, always being part of the backstage and all the fashion shows and everything. I got to meet the agency, Ford agency, and they said, "Oh, I think you could try to, to be a model because you look nice and you think, well, why not you try?" So then I started. Okay, I did a photo shoot, and I started working, between here and there, running to castings with, the little brush and the hairspray in the bag, and then I got the lucky to be found by Luisa Models in Germany, and she requested me to go and work in Germany as a model. So I did. Okay, I took this adventure, and I started, and that's how I started my model life. I did some few works in Brazil, very good ones. One of my first jobs was editor of Revolt Brazil, which nobody believes that I was the one doing it, and that was amazing. So I was very lucky in my past to meet always nice people, who treated me really good and who gave me opportunities, to grow in whatever I was doing. And then from Germany, I moved to Italy. So I worked in Italy as a model, and then I had the opportunity to do television. And of course, being in Italy, my my dream and my passion has always been art. You know, and Italy, of course, is the mother of the arts, right? It's incredible, everything you can see, and
It's a self-education everywhere you walk in Italy.
right,
Yes.
right. And I was making participating of this show Marchetti with Piero Pedretti, one of the biggest personalities in Italy on the television. And even then, it was related to art too, because I had those sketches which I had to interpret poems, which was they were, there was this amazing artist, like telling the poems, and I had to interpret it with my body, so it was kind of art. And then from television, I also did theater. So I was always surrounded by the art world, right? Fashion is also art, so it has always been my passion. And then one day I decided I like drawing, so I went to the store in Breda, which I love, beside the Pinacoteca. And I got the papers and the pencil, and I was with a very good friend of mine, Francisco Cunhamilli, which is a great designer, fashion designer. And I started sketching, and he's like, "What are you doing? I can't believe you're doing this. You cannot be good on this."
And in pencil, which is quite
Yeah,
difficult, you know.
and so yes, and then yeah, and then I found, I'm like, I really love this, and then later on I moved to the States and got married and
But let's stop there because it's something funny. I remember your husband when I moved to Miami, and I just find out there was the most elegant person I have ever seen. Coming from Latin America, was so incredibly handsome and very well dressed. He's working with a developer doing these South of Fifth buildings, and then suddenly I realized that you met him in a discotheque that I designed called Mint.
yes.
So here we go. We were kind of related in a way. I
October, it's gonna be 19 years.
Unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, and then just it's so funny because when we talk about your work, we're gonna start right away to talk about a selection of works that you have done, and you have said before, they're so related about motherhood, about family, about the history of the world, and that for me it was kind of fascinating when uh, I saw these beautiful drawings that you start to show me that you were just doing by hand, by pencil. And I was just fascinated by also the fact that you write poems around and in Portuguese, and there's also a message. So please tell us about this sort of correlation between nature, family, and why it's by hand.
Right. Well, I love to work with my hands. I'm an artisan, into paper, to drawings, to this one we're going to talk about. So I find peace on that, and I love that. So these drawings, the first drawing I did was inspired by this article I read when in Aleppo it was really bad, all the attacks there, and it was about this mother was found on the site that they had a bomb explosion, and she was found on the site, and she was pregnant, and they took her to the hospital in very bad condition, and and the good news is that they were able to save her and the child. And so I was, wow, this is amazing, and then there was the first drawing I did, which I might have one. I'm gonna show you
And actually showing it at the same time, which
this
is
one,
the oh,
this one,
how beautiful.
the crane,
And
which
it's all in pencil, which is beautifully,
is so, and this is like I mean, the heart, which represents the uterus, and you can see the shape. It's about the human reproductive system, right? So you have the uterus, you
Can you
have
make it a little higher for us to see it? Oh, it's so beautiful. They suddenly choose to vacuum the hallway of my
the relate.
apartment building, so I'm sorry for the noise in the background.
I have a big passion for symbolism. So in all my drawings, I try to, interact with, the nature that tells something. So I did the research, in this drawing in particular, you see that there's the heart, which is here played by the uterus, because what do you do? The uterus give life, right? So the heart is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then you have the lily, because the annunciation, the angel annunciating Mary that she would get, right, pregnant. And you have the rumming bird, which is the only bird that can stop, can fly still, and he presents resurrection. So, and that's how I started. And then I decided to write, in the beautiful language that I have, Portuguese, from my mother country. And I always
So,
point,
yes.
about what it is. And I
Yeah.
included the roots because I thought that it had to be, a kind of attachment, because in a way, if you think about it, we come from Earth, and that's where we're going to end up. So
Yeah, we are showing now on this particular moment, the piece, the plant that's in the shape of the heart,
right.
it's actually on a screen now, and I love it. How
Yes. So this
tell
one,
us about
this is I called fatherhood. So you have this. this beautiful leaf, which, you know, of course recalls also, because I think every artist then in a way is attached to their roots, right? So this is really tropical, and it's a plant I grew up with in Brazil. And this in Brazil is like the rib of Adam, the name. And where are we made of? You know, like the women come from one of his ribs, you know, according to the Bible. So so I decided to use that, and then I put my eye on it, you know, and then I use the passion fruit, which is sign of fertility, and I use also the seahorse, which is the only male in nature to carry babies. So that's,
Amazing.
you know, and you also got the Anturius, which is this flower you can call sensual phallic, or, you know, the shape it's
I love it. The
even
second one that we are seeing now is
the
that
second.
like a monkey with two birds. How's that?
Right. So this it's parenthood, and basically I mixed my tradition, my culture with my husband culture. He's Austrian, so you know you got the deer, the deer's horns, you got the edelflowers, edelweiss, you know, and then the monkeys, which I grew up with them. Those are part. That's part of my childhood, you know. So I grew up with. I had two of these monkeys, really, and
How beautiful.
so you know, and then I have the orchid, which is life, and the little fly, because this was a period something happened to me. I was a child, and you know, so it's always related to that, to life and to that. So it's all about the cycle of life, you know.
It's beautiful. Then we are seeing one of my favorites, I would say. There is the bananas, you know, with the, it's just so divine.
Yeah, this is my self trait. I came up with this idea, bananas, you know, and with my hand on it, you know, because I am supportive of my family, and I, you know, and I'm
You I don't I gotta tell you, if people don't know Magda, you know, I think that we share a couple of passions together, which is pasta with botarga, you know. So we kind of get together and we have Aperol Spritz and botarga pasta is, or suddenly we go meat, really big steak. And I love her passion about everything, about her family, her husband, her kids. Just the fact that you cook 3 meals a day, having help of the world, it's just like unbelievable. I don't, I'm
we're all doing that.
terrible. Well, I cook once a week, but I don't even cook. I warm. But the thing, this is wonderful to see how you develop yourself into this sort of complete woman. You know, as a provider, as a mother, as an artist, and never forget your past and always in touch with that. That is really touching.
Right. You know, the roots are roots. So here I have, in this particular drawing, the banana, which is something, of course, I had in my, you know, in my childhood life, in our backyard, and the hand support. And then I got my kids. I have Yasmin, the Yasmin flowers on top of it, and then I have Iris, the Iris,
Iris.
and I have the little caterpillar, which is the metamorphosis of the baby. You know, I lost because it turned into my second child. You know, luckily. So
Yeah.
it's about symbolism, you know, and I kind of like that, you know, that people might look, everybody has a different idea of it, but then when you go deep, you know, there's always something to say.
Yeah, we're going now to see sort of more of a monochromatic, kind of black and white, I would say, more than anything, elements in these drawings, which are just fantastic. They're like mouth.
These
Tell
are
me
the
about it.
trap. These are the Venus trap, because then again, for every drawing, I like doing the research. What this plant means in history? What is the symbolism of the plant? What is the symbolism of this bug? What is the symbolism of this bird? You know, so I do like to study the drawings before I start. And this is a series I did called Metamorphosis, which I always used my kids' body parts, real, you know, because I photographed their body parts, and I, you know, I combine them with nature. So this is a Venus trap. So you know those
Yes,
little
of
that
course.
eat the bugs, and those are the lips, you know, the mouths of my two children. And
How long do you spend? You take it, you do it like once a day, or you just go all the way in?
whenever
How's it?
there is the possibility, you know, again, I try to you know to put as much as you know as I can, and but as you know with two kids and small children is difficult, but I do love it, and they love it too. You know, they love to come and to see, mommy, where are you drawing? You know,
Yeah.
what is this? Is that out? So
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I can see this amazing also flowers, you know, and it's just divine.
yeah. This is the flower is the gladiole, which is called in Germany, and it's part of our garden in Austria. And I thought it was, I just love the you know, the real motion of the bug itself, and then, you know, the transformation of the, you know.
And you have them right there at the studio. Can we see them?
I do actually, yes, and I have them framed. So this one is right here. I hope you can see it because it's framed from the.
Yeah, I wanted to go close to the details. Oh,
so, you know, and then it goes into the ear. This is Yasmin's ear, my oldest daughter, and then you go to the, you know, Edie's ear, and then this is Edie's nose, and then we're gonna move to, you know, so it's my children's body parts, you know, the ears and the nose. I kind of
don't
like.
go so fast. Don't go so fast. They're just so precious that I love to see them myself. They're beautiful. And we're doing a limited edition prints of these particular drawings
Right.
because they're so precious that one is just not enough, you know. So you always like to keep your originals and then
Yes.
have, you know, limited edition drawings in a very photograph them to the perfection, and you feel the detail on it, and after that you intervene the pieces, which is quite
right. Yeah, in order to make unique, right? So we were talking about like the even the family tree, you know, I draw then, you know, they are printed in, you know, like very low resolution, so I just have a kind of path to go map, and then I draw again on top of them, and I intervene with the you know, the Japanese gold pen, and I do also draw the roots, and the roots are always different, you know, because everybody has different roots, right?
absolutely.
So I try to make it unique, all of them.
Yeah. This is another piece that I believe you have.
Yeah,
Also.
I have it here. These are the Flux Gloves, which is a magical flower, and like, you know, the Tinkerbell. That's where she comes from. And in this one particular, the metamorphoses go from the caterpillar into the butterfly, and how not to think about the eyes, right? And so then they go up and they become, you know, real eyes. And those are my children's eyes too.
It takes months to do this for you. It's unbelievable, the level of detail and perfection.
No, you know, I'm very OCD on my things, you know, and that's something I've been working now to break that perfection too, you know, to let it go. And I did a couple of things. I did this, you know, public installation, which was kind of fun because, you know, when you start to work with material in nature, you have to let it go. You know, you don't really know what's going to happen, especially outside. And then I start doing that with my ceramics, you know, with my sculptures, the visceral, because even then you don't have control. You know, I mean, you can even to glaze itself, you know, once they are fired and you color them, it's a chemical reaction. You know, once you glaze them with glass, you don't really know what's happening in the kiln. So is not having the control, you know, and let it loose, that kinds of helps me, you know. And the visceral was born because in a way it's very visceral, is body wise, you know, to touch the clay. And I don't work with wheel, so this is all done with the moss, and the oldest, you know, tradition of clay is doing coils, right? So I do coils, which are like little snakes, and I start molding them and then smoothing them and all this work, you know, and I put, you know, all my thoughts and on it.
Can we see them live? Because I have pictures, but I know you have them there.
Just behind me.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky to offer them.
And I kind of like them, you know, even if they are vessels, you know, I consider them sculptures itself, because the theme is visceral, and you cannot, you know, you need to have a deepness to what is visceral, right? So I like the inside, but I do like place them like this too, you see? And I like the copy, I like the conversation, you know, it's definitely pieces that, you know, you have to leave in spaces that you can also work around them, you know, you can walk around. Here I have other pieces.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And,
they look like flowers, they look like everything.
Even the you know, the inside of the body, you know, so I like placing them in different ways, you know, that you can. And now I start to work on these pieces that are gonna go to the wall, you know, to have like then you know, a installation, you know, with the old that goes to the wall. And, you know,
here, I have this white one here, and I just don't know what I love when they are like this. You know, I think when they are like this are absolutely fine.
Right.
You know,
So this is
and
what
I love her.
I've been working on it, you know, so that I have the piece right here. And listen, you know what? I could spend a day on it. You don't understand. I love it. I love into, you know, I love to do
I forgot to mention that you also go to school to get your diploma as an artist.
anything right now. And, you know, I do love history, culture, younger. I'm a very curious person, you know, very curious. And it's been amazing to me, you know, like the university. And so I'm graduating now this month. I'm very happy, and I'll keep on studying, you know, because I can't stop. It's my driven. You
Unbelievable. Let's talk about, after we spoke with the ceramics, they're not really heavy, and they're like precious objects, you just can grab them and you just feel the kind of sensation of having a human, I guess, in your hands because the forms are
know?
very much, humanistics, I would say, no?
Yeah, that's why the name comes from visceral, and therefore the palette is like all very flesh. You know, I use reds, I use grays, all that we have in our body, you know, our skin, our insides, you know. And so I've been doing some studies of that, and they are of course all different because it's impossible, you know, by hand to do one like another. So you know, and
Amazing.
it's supposed to be your skin, you know, your skin, and that's why also I like combining like the matte glaze, so that you know has more skin texture than the shiny glaze, which is our interior.
It makes, I don't know, they're simple, but they are at the same time, they're very glamorous, I would say that, I find it unbelievably gorgeous, when I have the chance to hold one, in my hands. I was very impressed with what you have done, and now you're doing a new selection, and you're waiting for the school to open so you can go there to finish them. So we are all very excited to see the new ones.
Right.
And sensuality, they have lots of sensuality. As one of the greatest persons in town in Miami, Monica Kalpakian, a great art consultant, and is actually
I
coming at this moment. Um, so let's talk about this new series of photographs.
right.
Are very, very. I just get to know all this information, a couple of hours ago, and we are happy to represent them as well. And it's how this happened because I still cannot get it. Explain.
So this is a tribute div. So I do like numbers also. So is the divine, which he talks about the ethereal feminine word, and the forms. You know, I like dividing in three in the triangle because you know the triangle means, right? I mean, if you think about the female form, right, or the triangle, and you know, I think the tree. I believe the tree. You know, the triangle is a very powerful number, and and so this was basically made with a video slide. I kind of researched all images from artists from all time. So like from the Venus of Willendorf, from the Venus of Botticelli, from the Venus of um, you know, from different artists.
No,
Come on.
even
From
sculptures and
yeah,
Greek goddesses and everything.
from all the women's, you know, the women depicted in art of all times, to like, you know, Marilyn from Andy Warhol, to Botero's big ladies, you know, and the amazing and voluptuous and the fertility. And so I photograph this video that I create, one top of the other one. So, you know, the same technique which I also use with architecture, right? And because and I use usually three images, so you know, three triangle, you know, symbolism, and you know, combine in one, and then I kind of made them look like X-rays, you know, so that you kind of, it fades, you know, where something starts, something ends, when they become monochromatic, right? And
And
so
with the purity of the white, and a glossy paper, I think they look extraordinary. I think they're very beautiful. Here's another one of the 14 that we have. This is fantastic. It's like a lady with a child.
right,
It's
you
there,
know,
but it's not there. Yeah.
was fun. It was fun to combine, you know, statues and the paintings, you know, Picasso, all Cubist ladies, you know, with then Egyptian sculpture, you know, just to you know, shapes, you know, and it's a tribute to women in art of all times, you know, to us, the divine, because we are divine, you know, we give.
Oh, thank you. I will get that all the time. But you
Like,
know what? The funny thing is, thank you, Madam. At the beginning, I thought they were drawings on pencil. That was my first impression, and I was like, wow, this is complex. But then, to understand this, it's just, they're quite beautiful. I really congratulate you for this latest, for this sort of, you're evolving as an artist, having these sculptures that you also do, and plexiglass, these sort of traveling boxes that we will show, and we show in our website, and all our sell channels in RC and First Tips and Artsper, where we are, and when people buy them, they generally wanted to get to know who the artist was. And when I tell them the story, they're kind of very shocked. They believe that maybe it's just, an artist that is very hipster, and they don't believe that he's a mother, a wife, but that is also an artist, which is quite fun, and I love that, to know. Give us a little peek of your studio, with this sort of,
a little peek.
a
Okay,
little peek, yes, like,
here we
because
go.
we love to see some of the work.
Here I have my, you know, this is my little space of work. I got my computer where, you know, I edit photos and things like that. These are all
What is this other one? That one, yes.
experiments, you know, that I'm gonna, you know, try to also create some shapes in painting. So I want to reflect the viscera on, you know, like the 3D on, you know, on a flat surface. So here you got these beautiful photographs. So we come through the architecture.
Yeah, that was your first body of work that you kind of,
Right.
that we have the chance to have at the Soul
Here you
House.
go. This is another one also from the Metamorphosis that I want to
Oh,
show,
oh, that's a very
which is
strange.
also all about symbolism. You got, you know, the brass, which is the nurturing, the magnolia, and this is like, you know, the dandelion flower, which is letting go your children, right? And the scorpion, which is about protection, right?
Oh my God, can you go lower? And a Scorpio sign. So I'm fascinated by, otherwise,
And
wow.
these are also graphene on paper. Yes.
Graphite paper, great.
Yeah.
Love perfection.
Here you go. And then I have the process right here. This is how I start working on a new one from the
Family tree.
from the family tree. So basically, what do I do? After I studied my subject, I put them together with Photoshop to see, you know, what's the best composition of it. So in
Okay.
this one, you know, the body parts here are the kidneys, and I like the fact that it looks like a spine, right, a vertebra spine.
Can you make it a little closer, please? Wow.
So this is the photograph, and you have the pomegranate, which is of course, you know, the life, so the for the symbolism and everything, right? Not forgetting about my tropics, you know, because I do like to keep my roots on it. You know, this is who I am, and this is the one. This is what I start doing here. You can see the bird, and I just start tracing the heliconia.
Oh, magnificent. I think they're wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. And that's going to be part of the family tree.
And this is, yeah, this is the next one.
Great. I would like for people to take a look of the first series of pictures that you took, because you were traveling so much and spending half of your time in Austria, and then you were visiting these palaces, but there you make them as visions,
Right. So this is the one, always the same technique of divine, you know, because my work it's about you know, memory, repetition of patterns, and space, you know, and this particular one was taken in Austria, in Vienna, is the Winter Albertina Palace, and you know, I like the kind of three dimension to it, you know, because you visit these places so much, and you know, more you go, more you appreciate it, and of course, right now for me, it's very difficult to think about, you know, to keep on doing this series because, of course, I have to travel and it's not very easy. So, but it's something I definitely want to keep on doing, you know, because I'm passionate of history, you know, and architecture and places like this. Of course, then, you know, living all these years in Italy, it will be impossible not to.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That they are great. There's a great series too. What do you think is happening now? Now that you're talking about, life at this moment, what do you think the art movement of is going to bring to the table? What do you think is next?
What's next in art? You mean?
Yeah.
I think well, as you say, I think people keep on buying art. For different uh,
Let's
perspectives.
choose. Let's choose more art.
He realize artists also has more time to produce, right? And I'm certainly this period. I think we're going to see in the future. We're going to see a lot of interesting art, right? Because you home by everybody knows being on this lockdown situation, and there's a lot of time to think and to produce. And well, art itself is not going to die. If ever it's, I think
It's unbelievable. We've been having like the last best 2 months. I guess because people having time, they have time to go around, and it's stuff. People are stopping to buy so much conceptual stuff, and they need to go deep into the piece. Artists need to really know how to sell their work, and people are buying online,
right.
because they cannot go anywhere. They can see it. So the level of questioning that I've been having, lately from people that are buying for us and our platforms, it's unbelievable. We're selling pieces to Austria, to Geneva, to France, to Spain, to Italy, to
Yeah.
Germany, or to New York. People are keep buying. They just really, wanted to buy more humanistic art. Things that have to be in touch with life.
Right. In my opinion, also is the fact that you are home a lot. I mean, most of the time, and I think, and maybe hopefully things also are going to shift in the market. People are going to buy art because they like
Yes.
art, not buying art because they think about resell. Those two different markets. You have the collectors who buys because they like something and they don't care how cold it is in the market or whatever. Then you have collectors which buy art to then, right, thinking about a collection and resell, and to do it like work. So
I was just thinking, and what this guy was saying the other day, and it's the majority of the collectors who are buying the big figure numbers for the small amount of galleries that are there in the world. They're over 60, and the generation of the new generation of our generation, which is 40s, 50s, 30s, you know, the galleries have no cater to them, and these are people that are wanted to buy. So there is a lot of hype in the market with certain artists, like Cobbs and Bansky and all that sort of artists, but they're now impossible to get. So it's going to be kind of democratized, of the art world, and people are going to see quality, the longevity. They're going to also understand that they're going to support young artists. They're doing a really serious good work.
right.
But it was a time when it was impossible to walk to any art fair in the world and just see these ridiculous prices for a picture of a parking lot, which doesn't make sense to me. So I think it's going to be a lot of that and a lot of back to the classics, and photography and painting.
Yeah, I believe that everything, the whole system has to be reevaluated. I mean, in a way, we have to to put point priorities, and values. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I do believe that, and
that we
you
do.
know, when I start my life as a designer, and then have open a gallery and do all these amazing things for myself, I never show anything that I didn't like. I love to support the artists that actually become my friends. We're lucky to have 30 something artists in our roster for all around the world. Some of them I don't even know personally, but I like and I care about them, and we always, in conversations, and I try to help them as much as I can with the little that I know. But for me, it's important to represent people who does serious art. They have longevity that is going to be there. you know, they have proved themselves that they can keep producing, you know. And
Right.
one of the things that I love about your work is that always you are rediscovering new things to do, and exploring new techniques and working around, because that's what an artist should do. You know, you cannot sit in one collection of beautiful things for the rest of your life, hoping to sell them in a lot of money. You know, you
Right.
have to just
Right. But then
keep.
the other day I was watching this very interesting show, which I recommend on Prime, Amazon Prime. It calls Brilliant Ideas, and there's artists from all around the world. I mean,
What is it called? What is it called?
Brilliant Ideas on Amazon
Hmm.
Prime.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
No, and there's like, all this interviews and showing the work of these different artists from different backgrounds and cultures and mediums and everything. And it's always the question, how much, I mean, it's a knife with both cutting ends, the fact of being so prolific, and working on different medias and being curious, and experiment, because then people think, in a way, are you going to be recognized by an artist, by artists with one single piece? There's most of the artists, in a way, try to get one style, one kind of material and work on it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm not able to do this because I'm all over the place. I do like to explore and do all different things and everything. But then if I think about Picasso, for example,
It's
how
not
much
a formula.
how much things did he do? And then it
Yeah.
was interesting to see all this, new generation of artists doing the same. We are so lucky in these days to have, close to our hands all kind of things, and the
You,
facility.
you, you either create a brand, or
Right.
you either develop as many art brands as you want to do. You know, I think one of the biggest, marketing masters in the world were Picasso and Warhol. You know, they did everything. You know, you can still even find a linen collection from Warhol.
Well,
You
they
know,
start each other's movement, right? If you think
yeah,
about, I mean, who is the one more genius? Well, probably Picasso. I think Picasso was a genius.
yeah, yeah. It was.
Quality of, that he kept throughout his life with all the things he did, and the styles like this. So, I said, okay, why not? I mean, sometimes I'm there in Tripoli, I'm like, maybe I should stick only to the drawings. Oh no, well, now I love in the ceramics. Maybe I should do the ceramics, but I do love to be surrounded by different stages, by different spots and corners that I'm doing different work, because I'm Aquarius with Libra, air and air. I'm all over the place. I can't help myself. So, I
That's
can
a good.
start, finish right
I
up.
just I just set a picture of a I just shared a picture of Picasso that I found today. You know, I don't know if you can see it. He in a bathrobe and underwear. I think it's just
Fabulous.
divine. You know, it's just liberty of life, and for me, I don't know. I have to like it. I have to believe it. Yesterday we started the talk with Manuel Santalices, an artist that has now become a movement with his wonderful watercolors. Today we're talking to you, that does ceramic, that does photography, that does the drawings. Tomorrow we're talking to Natasha Supan, that is also a fantastic artist. That her world is the collage. And then Monday we're going to talk about photographer that only photograph beautiful women's and different situation. It's about the variety that you can have. Why to keep only one thing in life? I think explore is the best.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
And you do that.
it's this need. I have the need of keep on doing things and creating all the time. It's like, well, as soon as I establish an idea, I'm thinking, what's next? Well, how am I going to improve this? How am I going to do this?
What is your favorite artist? What is your inspiration at this moment? An artist that is alive.
An artist that is alive, inspiration. Oh my God. I like the oldies. I'm a
Yeah, but I know you like one very much.
big fan
That is
of tradition.
Pistoletto, no?
Who?
You love Pistoletto.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He's marvelous. I saw some work of his in the Biennale of Venice, which I always try to go see for the summer. And I go to Europe, and I just love him. He's fantastic.
And what
There's
about Brazilian art? What are you love? Tell us about Brazilian art. Who do you consider is a fantastic artist at this moment?
Brazil,
breaking barriers?
Brazilian artists right now. Oh my God, there's so many. Um, and now I'm like, my mind is like boom, all over, all over. I can really focus on one.
Tell me a couple.
I love the way he does. You know, he works always with space and you know the nature. He did this amazing installation in one of the São Paulo museums.
Wow.
Insane. And well, Brazil is it's really going crazy with art right now. You know, we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
very creative and you know and we have so much melancholia. You know, in a way, in our if you think about
Yes.
the Brazilian history of art, you know, and music, you know, we always have this melancholia, this feeling, this suffering, this loving, this enjoying life, and that I think that you know it inspires a lot of people. And
Do you feel, you know, your roots are Brazilians, but your heart is in Italy and your body's in Miami?
yeah,
It's kind
so
of
therefore,
that, you know?
one thing, tell me about it. I'm divided all over, you know, everything.
You speak to your kids in English and Portuguese and German?
House, German, English, Portuguese. Yes, it's definitely a madhouse. Definitely a
Ah,
madhouse. I also
wonderful.
show you this new prints that I made with something else that I'm doing. The linoleum. I made some prints too.
Show it to me.
I'm gonna show you. So from
You see, now it's something new.
from this
I
drawing,
uh-huh.
I discovered the passion of carving, and so I start carving. So the linoleum is like it looks like a gum surface. So you draw on top of it, and then you start carving everything like negative, positive,
Wow.
and then you press like printmaking, you know. And I love the idea of working with you know different papers. This is like a you know Japanese paper, you know, in different colors with the silver,
Gorgeous.
and this is something I'm gonna be doing now with all the most of my drawings. You know,
Wow.
I
Something
got
cool. That's new. You see, I thought that I knew everything.
right.
So I
Full of
really want to
surprise.
ask you, I really want to thank you very much for your time. You know,
Oh, thank you.
and I know you are a busy mom
Yes.
and also a busy artist, and I'm really, you know, honored to have you, you know, in our platforms
I
and our
thank you.
work.
I thank you for the opportunity because you know you look at me, you look at the work, and you're like, okay, I like it, let's do it. And so I really thank you for the opportunity, for the effort and work you do. I know it's very hard to keep all this, you know, online galleries ongoing and changing and putting new work and pricing. And so I thank you very much for the opportunity of and the love, you know, you give to me and to my work.
Yeah, I put a little pressure sometimes, but you know, we
Like
make it happen. We make it just a tiny one,
the
but
colors.
we make it happen. You know, I'm a perfectionist, and I really want your art to be up there. You know, and the people that have purchased your work are just always come back to ask me what she's doing new, and to, you know, you always left that sort of moment of and space, you know, between what is old and what is new, and for that, you know, we are always you know, very grateful for the opportunity. So I just want to thank everybody, and including you more than anything, you know.
I want
uh,
to all my friends that I see that sending me comments and everything.
yes, oh my God, hearts from Italy, from Austria, from Brazil, from Miami, from, you know, wonderful people. I thank you very much for joining us, and I'm gonna hang the talk and IGTV, and please take a look of our website, artdesignproject.com. You will see more work of Magda there. You
Yes.
know, we have also RC and First Tips and Artsper in Paris, where we sell our work, you know, of all these artists that we represent and we love. And tomorrow I'm going to see you guys talking from to Natasha Supan. She's actually in an island somewhere in the Pacific, completely lockdown. You know, it's amazing. You know, she went for vacation and now she's suddenly in the middle of an island with 20 people. You know, there's nobody else in the house at that. And we're gonna talk to her about her experience and about her work and about what she's doing. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Next week we will continue every day at noon. So I hope you guys join us and spread, you know, tell everybody to put likes and to listen whatever we have to say. And I send you many kisses to you, Magda. Thank
you. Thank you, Juan Carlos.
all my best. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.